Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, celebrations galore as different groups continue to celebrate the return of President Muhammadu Buhari from London after over 100 days of medical vacation. Explosions kill 2 in Yobe as travelers run into Boko Haram insurgents along Damaturu Biu Road in Yobe. Police open investigations into the murder of Governor Samuel Otom's aide, Tavashima Adoro, in the early hours of today. And South Africa's government grants diplomatic immunity to Zimbabwe's First Lady Grace Mugabe, which allows her to travel the country without answering questions about an assault allegation. We begin tonight from Daura in Katsina State, the hometown of President Muhammadu Buhari, where the residents trooped out in their large numbers today to join in celebrating the return of the president from London on Saturday. The state governor, Aminu Bello Masari, used the occasion to appeal to Nigerians to continue to pray not just for the president, but the success of the current administration.
Hundreds of people from within and outside Katsina city marching towards the home of President Muhammadu Buhari in the state. The air is thick with excitement as the people celebrate the return of President Buhari from medical vacation in London. President Buhari returned to the country on Saturday, August 19, after spending nearly 4 months in London to treat an undisclosed ailment. The state governor thanks Nigerians for praying for the quick recovery of the president.
The ailment that Buhari has gone through has gone beyond tribal or religious divide. Some people were praying negatively. Allah doesn't answer prayer, negative prayer. Even if you feel you're succeeding, it's temporary. It's temporary. It will fade. Muhammadu Buhari is a human being like any other person. He can fall sick. So, being sick does not mean automatically dying.
The chairman of a state chapter of the coalition of civil society organizations describes the return of President Muhammadu Buhari as a sign of better things to come for the country.
I sincerely and wholeheartedly welcome back my president, Muhammadu Buhari, back to Nigeria after this medical trip. To me, it is an opportunity to even celebrate, cooperate again and more sincerely to the policies and programs of Buhari, give him the required support, give him the required prayers for his own success. His own success in checking corruption, his own success in repositioning Nigeria is entirely our own success, because this is like a testing ground for us. If we miss it this time around, we don't know what will happen subsequently.
These members of various civil society organizations are also using the rally as an avenue to demand for effective leadership from the state government, as they insist that good governance must be replicated at all levels in the country.
Well, the mood was the same at the Aso Villa Chapel, where worshippers, including the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, sang various songs in Hausa, Igbo and Yoruba languages to thank God for the safe return of President Muhammadu Buhari. The Aso Villa Chapel's administrator, Reverend Isaac Ambi, who presided over the service, said the church was happy that the president had safe return. Prayers of thanksgiving were also offered in the 3 major languages by the immediate past chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Ikenes 1 Ayo, Reverend Ambi and Mr. King Opuru. In the meantime, in Abuja, it was a carnival-like atmosphere as members of the National Youth Council of Nigeria and pro-Buhari supporters converged on the Unity Fountain in Abuja to celebrate the return of Mr. President, who returned to Nigeria from a medical vacation to London on Saturday, the 9th of August. 19th of August, the national president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Comrade Murtala Garba, who led the celebration, appealed to Nigerian youth to continue to pray for the good health of President Buhari to enable him fulfill his promise of changing the country. A popular actor from the north, Ibrahim Maishuntu, also enjoined Nigerians to support the president in order to enjoy the dividends of democracy.
In jubilation and celebration, also, and encouraging ourselves as Nigerian youth in welcoming our president from his medical vacation. So we are in thousand here to identify and also to celebrate as Nigerians. Really, we have a lot of expectation in our capacity as Nigerian youth. Really, he left his acting president, that is his deputy, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He has done well, but he as himself, he's back now. We believe he will continue from where Professor Yemi Osinbajo stopped.
We know that Baba Buhari is honest. Yes. And what I will now advise the Nigerians or our people, let's continue praying for General Muhammad Buhari, because his health is our life. Yes, true. You know, many people are saying that Baba Buhari will not come back alive. So today is one of the happiest days.
It is less than 12 hours to President Muhammadu Buhari's broadcast of the nation since returning from the United Kingdom, where he has been getting medical attention. A professor of international law and jurisprudence, Akin Oyebode, has highlighted some of what should be expected from the president's address tomorrow morning. Also, what he says should be urgent areas of attention for the president when he gets to his desk. Professor Oyebode was the guest on our political program, Sunday Politics.
President Buhari will express appreciation to the generality of Nigerians for their faith in him, for their prayers and benevolence. I expect him to thank Nigerians fulsomely for supporting him in prayers and whatever, and not losing faith in him for 1 minute. And then of course, I expect that what you asked Governor Okorocha in terms of rejigging his cabinet, it might not be tomorrow, but definitely it's on the cards. That, look, we can't have more of the same. They have less than 2 years left, and they have to show some panache, okay, to convince Nigerians that it's for real. I mean, Buhari spent 5 months without a cabinet, and there was a time he was saying that civil servants are even better than noisemakers. All that is in the past tense. The Nigerians are yearning for the change. They want intensification of the anti-corruption war. And then they want to ensure that we diversify our economy. The roadmap should be really fine-tuned. Everybody now knows that oil will be no longer a very important issue in the next 20 years.
Okay.
Let's talk more now about the president's return home. Professor James Sayo, who's a professor of media and cultural communications at the Pan-African University in Lagos, joins us now on the news at 10. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. I appreciate you all being here tonight. What areas do you... Well, first of all, we're all glad that the president is finally back after over 100 days away, and we do hope that he's strong enough, to face the duties of his office. But he is making an address tomorrow. So what areas do you think he needs to focus on? What do you think Nigerians are itching to hear tomorrow morning?
Well, I think Nigeria is in a mood of ecstasy and expectation, especially now that the president has returned. I want to believe, and Nigerians want to believe, that he has returned with renewed vigor and greater resolve to confront the monumental challenges and contradictions that have militated against development in our country. I expect that the president will address the issue of the war on corruption, because that appears to be one of the major planks of his administration. He told us that if Nigeria does not kill corruption. Corruption will kill Nigeria. And we expect that now that he's back, he will give greater attention to that war on corruption. Secondly, there is the issue of restructuring. It has resonated very strongly. And when he was away, that formed part of our national discourse. And we expect that that will also be an issue he will have to look at very critically, very dispassionately, so that these agitations, which I believe very strongly have some validity, will also be looked at. Because we are operating what I would call a fraudulent federation. We pride ourselves as being a federation, but in practice that is not happening. And I think part of the developmental arrest we have experienced over the years is as a result of this. There is also the education sector. ASU is on the war path, and you can say that, okay, perhaps maybe that could have been resolved some other way. But it appears that even governments, previous governments, have only listened to industrial action, to war, so to speak. And that explains why perhaps ASU has decided to also go on strike again. So that's one other very thorny issue I think the president needs to address. And also to assure Nigerians that all of us are citizens of this country. When he was away, there was a marching order from the Arewa youths that the Igbo in the north should have to leave that part of the country by October 1. It has created a whole lot of insecurity, and rightly too. And we expect that now that he's back, he will reassure not just the Igbo, but the entirety of Nigerians that we are one, we're a unified country, and everybody belongs to this country, and wherever they live, they should be secure. They should be able to go about their legitimate businesses without any molestation. There shouldn't be any threat to any life. These are some of the concerns which I think are legitimate, and the president should really confront head on now that he's back.
Yeah, you make a very important point when you talk about unifying the country, because that's a message that really needs to go out there. But you've also drawn up a long bucket list of what the president should address. He has less than 2 years in office now to do this, having been sick, for a period of time. Do you think these are things that he can possibly fulfill? These are tasks he can fulfill before
it may not be possible for him to do that. As a matter of fact, one is not expecting that these issues will be addressed in one day. But he has a responsibility. When he was seeking for this office, he promised Nigerians, there were campaign promises he made, and Nigerians will hold him accountable. They want him to deliver on these promises. So it is true that he has been away for a very long time on medical tourism. We appreciate the situation he found himself in. We also understand that these challenges need to be addressed. The vice president, then acting president, was in charge and discharged the duties creditably. But we expect that now that he's back, as much as he can, let Nigerians begin to know that their president is back. There is a whole lot of unemployment, which many have sometimes even argued that the Boko Haram insurgency has found its roots in that. So these are the challenges we expect that he will address within the short period of time that is left.
Very quickly, sorry to interrupt, but very quickly, the vice president did say that the president's return would help, also the president's recovery, beg your pardon, signifies Nigeria's recovery also. What do you make of what he said?
Well, I would say that is preemptive, and you expect that from the vice president, no doubt. He has been a very loyal vice president, and now that his principal is back, all of us, not just him, all of us believe that his return is symbolic and is going to galvanize the process of governance. That is because we are patriotic Nigerians and we expect that things will change for the better. So we hope that that expectation will also be met. It will not just be something that we wish and we just evaporate. We hope that he will work assiduously, he will rededicate himself to the process of governance, and we ensure that these promises which he made are fulfilled. That is the expectation.
Professor Saya, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10. Of course, our best wishes are with the President. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
In part 2, after the break, 12 persons died from a boat mishap in Lagos State as the government blames the incident on overloading and operation of an illegal jetty. Please join us again.